It's the Super MMA Bros. Who the freak are these guys? They're calling every fight, never wrong, always right.
This is the Super MMA Bros again. What's up, YouTube? This is our video about reacting to UFC Fight Night Vancouver. I guess we'll start with the main card. And I guess I was wrong. I thought de Ridder was going to win easily, and that didn't turn out to be true. Yeah, like he was looking good in the first round. He was out grappling Allen. Almost got submission. Allen was fighting off the submission the whole time, but his submission defense was really good. And I think he had a reversal of de Ridder even in that first round, but it was de Ridder's round for sure. And then round two, um, like that was Allen's round, and he reversed de Ridder when de Ridder tried to take him down and just ground and pounded him. He couldn't get up, and he was actually doing damage. And like I remember de Ridder, he couldn't even get up for a bit, and the rest like, "You okay, bro?" Because he was just taking a nap after the round ended. And they're like, "Hey, if you don't get up, bro, the fight's over." And he got up, and I was like, I remember the announcers like, "It's not a good look. He can't even get up." Um, yeah, and then the third round, he looked exhausted and like fucking. He kept trying takedowns though. Like he didn't want to do any striking. He was afraid of Allen striking, I guess. And even though he's exhausted, just exhausting him more, and he couldn't get anything going. And Allen just reversed him and just stayed on top and ground and pounded him. And yeah, I think that was the third. And then it was it the fourth round. I think it was when yeah he wouldn't even start. He didn't want to get up at the end of the third round. I believe, and like they kept asking me, "You're right." He just like got up and sat in the stool, and I was so shocked. They're like, "What? It's over!" And he's just sitting there, and I was like, "What the fuck?" But he did have a big old knot on his face. It looked all swollen. It looked really bad and stuff. But uh, I didn't expect that from him. People are kind of calling him de Ridder the quitter now because it was like, "Damn, dude!" Like, I guess they said the coaches just asked him. Someone said on Reddit like they translate the Dutch. And he's like, "Hey, do you want to keep going?" He said like, "No, I'm like too exhausted or something." I guess he just was so gassed he knew he'd get finished and he just gave up. Which is people are making fun of him, but in a way he's being smart. He realized he probably fucked up and he just used all his energy and he was gonna get KO'd and he's fought 4 times, 4 or 5 times this year, so maybe that was a mistake. Maybe he looked past Allen and he didn't train as much or something like. But yeah, I don't. Let's hear your thoughts on it.
But
Continue.
yeah, De Ridder, to your point, he kind of got Bo nickeled. What he did to Bo Nickel, he got Bo nickeled now. Oh no, I'm getting beat up. Oh no, it's a hard fight. I thought Allen was a little bitch boy. I thought I was gonna beat him up. And like, oh, it's a harder fight than I expected. Oh no, I have a mouse on my face. Oh no, I can't get up. Like you said, he took a nap. I thought they were gonna end the fight when he wasn't getting up. Like, dude, you have to get up at the bell. Like he was taking a little nap there, which shocked me. And
Yeah.
I think what happened is that he wasn't expecting to get reversed because that first round he locked in that body lock. I was watching this fight at a cigar lounge with some friends, and we were all saying like, "Hey, that body lock's in this round. Once it does Aljamain Sterling now. Once that body lock goes in, like Islam does it too, you get that leg across. He's just gonna ride out that round." So I kind of thought the rest of the rounds were gonna go like that. Like, oh, the Ritter's just gonna like dry hump him for 3 rounds and win this fight, right? And so I think when Allen reversed them and then started ground and pounding him, and then he had to fight out of that, I think he's not used to somebody being as good as him on the ground. And hey, like as Chael Sonnen would say, how good is Allen? Like, I can't believe Allen did this to him. And like Ritter the quitter, I was shocked. Like, dude, like get off the stool, man. Like, come on.
Yeah, apparently he's done this in the past. When I was reading about it before he got into the UFC, there was some other fight where or no, it was in the one that he like kind of he decided to call it quits. But I didn't see the fight. People said he was getting his ass beat in that fight, so it made more sense. But this one, he did. Allen was landing some nasty elbows, like his ground and pound. He was very good at like, even though he was in close, at like landing elbows and stuff, and then yeah, De Ridder kept trying to do these little like rolls where he like flip and then his legs would be over his head. It's like, dude, your head's right there to get smashed. It's like he kept trying that, but Allen's grappling was good enough that it didn't work. And like you were kind of right. I think Anthony Smith after the fight, like on their little show, was kind of saying too, and he's kind of right that like De Ridder had the one game plan. It works really well if he can like get you to the ground and fuck you up. But then if he can't do that, it's like what he's like, oh shit, what do I do? Right? Like he's like, I'm not the best striker. He has his knees, but I think he was worried about Allen's like punches actually. So like even though he was losing on the ground, he kept forcing it and he kept trying to do the same thing. And Allen's just like, all right, I'll just stay on top and like punch you in the face. So Allen impressed me. I didn't expect it either. Um,
I mean, the refs were going to stop it at one point. You saw them looking at the mouse on his face, like they were. Remember when they kind of
it
were
did
like,
look bad. Yeah, it was really
right?
swollen.
I think the only reason they didn't stop it was because it wasn't on the front part of his eye because it's on the side of his face, so he's not getting directly hit flush all the time. And I think that's why they're like, well, it's kind of on the side of his head, and it didn't. It's a huge hematoma, but it's probably not going to get busted up too bad. That was good on the refs part, but I am a little annoyed the refs didn't call the fight. This happened with Yoel Romero back in the day. I forget who he was fighting. He was fighting a guy and the guy and Yoel Romero played the same game of like not getting up right away, and the fight should have been called. I kind of felt
Yeah,
like
they
it was
cut
a
him some
little bit of
slack. It is
that.
kind of bullshit because technically with the rules, right, they're supposed to get up. The corner can't help them. I remember there's been fights where they cheat on that. I think it was Alex Volkanovski and Brian Ortega.
Brian
Where
Ortega.
that fucker took a
Brian
long ass
Ortega.
snap. His corner helped him up. It should have been disqualified, really. But they kept it. It was I think it was Herb Dean, he's always a little shady with enforcing the rules. But like it was yeah. So it was unexpected. I was like, wow, Allen won. Like, I think Allen was ranked, he was much lower in the rankings. I think Dreer's 4 or 5, and I think he's like 10 or something like that. Allen. So
Yeah.
he's gonna get a good fight next. Um, apparently De Ridder like talked shit to Bo Nickal and called him a quitter, and then he kind of did the same thing. But all the shit we're talking, it's like as a fighter, the long-term thing, he's kind of smart. He realized he was so gassed, he's going to go out there and just get finished. And like for his long-term career, it's a smart move to be honest. He thought he's going to get shit for calling him the quitter. His name rhymes, and it's unfortunate. But like, you know what I mean? He fought like 4 or 5 times in the year. He probably knows like, let me recover, take some time off, come back. Maybe he goes on another run, right? But his height train's a little derailed now because he was like taking out everybody, But like. But they were like lower level guys too, even like Bonico was kind of untested. But Robert Whitaker though, that was a good win. But he almost got knocked out by Whitaker too. So it's kind of like if someone has good striking and good enough grappling to negate his jiu-jitsu and grappling, he's kind of in trouble. His striking's not like amazing, right? So yeah, like he was calling out. I always say his fucking name wrong, which Chimaev. How do you say his fucking name?
Chimaev.
Yeah, Chimaev. Like he was calling out Chimaev for the title shot. Like now I don't think he stands a chance against Chimaev, right? Because Chimaev's grappling's even better, right? And Chimaev's striking is pretty good too. So if he's on the feet, I don't think it works. You never know, right? Sometimes the styles make fights, but like I know Chimaev gasses out, but so does De Ridder we've seen. So then I think Chimaev wins that if they ever end up fighting somehow.
The one thing I don't agree with that you said is that, oh, it was a smart move for his longevity. Be like GSP, go into the round, GSP tap to strikes. If you have to end the fight early, do so, but finish the round, right? If you're gonna go out there and you start getting fucked up a little bit, call it quits. Like that's what I didn't like. Like this is only a three. If it was a 5 rounder,
Well,
um,
maybe we'll find out more because that mount or that knot on his head did look really bad. Maybe something shattered there, right? Maybe he knew something was wrong. Like we might find out
good
more.
point.
And plus, they didn't have translators there, so we don't know fully like what was said. But there was that history where he kind of did something similar in the past, where he just like gassed out on the floor. So like, you know, we'll see, right? Maybe we'll
Yeah,
find out more.
and like you talked about in the John Jones video we did, where grabbed um he grabbed Whitaker's glove when he was getting ground and pounded, right, to save himself. He's kind of,
Yeah.
you know, I didn't like him from that point really that much. And this shows like how good is DDP. DDP would never give up. Even with Chimaev, he went out there. He still, I remember in the fifth
Yeah, but
round,
he
tried
probably
to
kind of
get
likes being hugged for 25 minutes too.
yeah,
With,
DDP's
you've
a
seen in
sus
his
at John
interactions with his
Jones.
coach.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Uh,
kissing dudes. He's like getting cattle prodded, BDSM. Like
it's a whole
DDP is
other
like the new
subject,
John
but
Jones. But
yeah.
let's actually talk about DDP. While we're on the subject, let me rant here for a second about DDP, about that whole situation. It's like his coach, they say, oh, we kiss like this in South Africa. And then a bunch of South Africans like, no, we don't. And it's like even DC was
Well, yeah, just to
disgusted, Dana was
explain, because like
disgusted.
the people that don't know, it's like after his fights, DDP was kissing on the mouth his coach, like he like every fight, and there was like a someone zoomed in on Dana White's face and he's like, ugh. And same with like DC was like, ugh, what the fuck? So they're trying to like, oh,
Yeah,
it's how he
it's like,
armed South Africa
same thing with Jones.
with the
Yeah, this wasn't supposed to be a DDP is gay video, but I guess it's turning into that. So let's go. Like let as Sean Strickland say, let's fucking go. Like, that's the thing. It's just like John Jones. Stop acting like you're not gay. I mean, he kind of has a hot girlfriend, so that's his beard. I get maybe that's the play. He can't say he's gay, but like there's so many sus. We should really do a
He
DDP
might be
is
bi, maybe, because he's like, there's too many sus things to forgive. Like,
yeah,
Jones,
remember when
like,
he was wearing that like fucking swimsuit showing off his cock where it was like, remember, what I'm talking about? Like
yeah.
I'll pull up that
I mean,
I'll pull up
kissing your
that
coach
later.
after a fight is enough. And then there's that thing with Nina Drama on the interview, and she started asking him like questions about what he wants in women. He had to like really think to like not give away that he kind of likes men too. Like, Sewer King had some great videos on that where he's like really weird with that. Where it's like any normal guy would have responded differently. Check out Sewer King if you want more on that too.
Yeah, that's the thing with here's the thing, you guys. Like the thing with DDP is, if you're gay, fine. If you're bi, fine. But he act like if you notice he hasn't kissed his coach since. It was like a one-off kiss, right? It was a one-time kiss. Like it was
No,
like,
it
okay,
wasn't one time. He did it
pulling me
multiple
up
times, but
Africa.
he has stopped because maybe UFC gave him that shit. Like, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah, and it's you know uh, uh, it's kind of one of those things. I think DDP is like smarter with this stuff, unlike Adesanya and John Jones. I kind of feel like, you
Are you
know,
telling me Adesanya sus too? I would have never guessed.
I would have never guessed, right? And so here's the thing. Here's the thing, you guys. I'm gonna show a picture of this image. Like I said last video,
What
a
are you,
picture
Sean
shows
Strickland
thousand
now?
words. Strickland. Hey, let's get into Strickland. He has that sus picture with the long hair where he looks fruity. That's a whole
Yeah,
another thing.
he's
He's like
a
a
he even
closet.
wore a shirt that says, oh, what did it say? Like, oh, it's that's gay I'm in or something, right? He
Yeah.
also as well.
He
But
said something in an interview once too that, oh, if he was life in jail, that's the only time he'd be gay. Like, hey, if I was life in jail, I'm still not gay, bro. Like that was super sus to me. Like,
yeah.
okay, what the hell is that? But back to DDP, because that's this is the DDP intermission is him being gay. So um let's show this image here. You see this? How is this not gay?
I think
Like,
I probably gotta
come on.
censor that too out for YouTube, but I'll censor it later.
Censor.
But
Yeah,
you
I'm
guys
gonna
see the
point.
picture if you want to see the full grossness, you could Google that yourself.
Type in into Google DDP UFC swimsuit. This will
It's
come up. He's
basically
holding the.
That Borat green slingshot. That's what he's wearing. It was like, and he has two
And,
bros touching him. Like, oh yeah, basically he's like his ass is out behind there is what it means.
and here's the thing. DDP put this up after some Adesanya said something that his dick was small. Like he made a joke that like, oh, in his shorts or like this, like he always looks like he has no penis. There was some image like where like he was in, and then DDP was like he was putting this out as proof that he has a big dick or something. That was the whole thing.
Yeah,
But
he
like
probably
it came
PM'd him.
out
He's like,
more
you
sus.
really want to find out, Adesanya? I'll let you come touch it.
But here, look at this video. He's got his arm around this guy. You see that the little fucking arm around that guy in the black shirt? He's got his arm
Yeah.
around the guy. He's got his leg, his thigh touching the other guy. The other guy's pressed up.
Ugh, I
Like
didn't
he's
notice
basically, like you
that.
said,
Yeah.
he's got like ashless chaps on because there's like his like what is this?
Well,
You're
that's the
like
thing. It's like, there's he's obviously pretty sus, and they won't like. I wouldn't care if you just admit it a little bit. I think what's his name, MVP. What's his actual Michael Venom Page? He's admitted in interviews he's bi and stuff, right? It's like fair enough. Like I don't have anything against that. It's just like it's funny when they're like, no, bro, I'm just manly. It's like okay, but like kissing your coach, wearing that, right? It's just funny to us, is all right. John Jones was the trailblazer with all this, I guess, the being in denial, but there's a few fighters, but.
and here's the thing, I want to show another image too. That I want to show why he's kissed his coach multiple times. People forget about this. When he was younger in his career, he kissed
Oh,
his coach.
that's probably been like
So
a bunch of
I'm gonna
times.
show this. You see how here they're
Oh, what the
kissing,
fuck?
right? And then here's the bottom right corner is the most
That's like a
recent when they're
passionate
kissing.
one too. That's not like, ew.
And
Yeah.
someone put this up. Let's see the someone writes here, you You see me kissing other guys? I have a bunch of pictures of me kissing other guys. I'm still gonna post them. Like I care what you guys say. Do you guys know my girlfriend? I don't care. Anyway, I'm gonna miss kiss my coach, my dad, and my brothers. That's what DDP has said.
Ew,
And look at
yeah. Well, at
He's
least
kissing.
honestly, dude, like at least he's owning it more than John Jones. He's like, yeah, I like kissing guys so what, a little bit, right? He's not quite saying admitting he's gay, but like, come on, like, So he's either bi or gay, and like, who knows with the girlfriend if they're just married for like tax purposes or something, but oh no, they're not married, right? Girlfriend, right? So
The
who knows?
girlfriend.
He could be
And
bi,
here's the
right?
thing.
So
The one on the bottom corner is the one we were talking about earlier where he kissed it in recent times. The one we were talking about. This one in the left here, you see the hair is different. He's got like a little like like this is a different thing, right? And so it's happened before, and the fact that he's talking about it, I can give him a little more respect than John Jones. At least he's putting it out there. He's like bi
he's
or
kind
something.
of almost owning it at least, yeah.
But that's kind of the thing with DDP. It's like I have a little more respect for him, but I still don't like the playing the game of that you're not gay. Like, it's like if you're gay, it's fine. Like we said, the Seinfeld thing. Like, hey, there's nothing that's wrong with that. I don't care if you're gay. Just stop trying to act like kissing a dude on the mouth is normal. Like, I
Yeah.
just can't believe he's saying that. Like, oh, I'm just gonna
Well,
kiss
try to,
everybody, kiss
yeah,
my
don't act
brother.
like that's straight. It's not. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong being gay, but like.
That's like me telling you I'm gonna kiss you. You'd be like, "What the fuck?" Like no normal brother situation. You're kissing your brother. Like what the fuck?
Yeah. I
Like I
mean,
just it's
and
too
then,
funny.
and if he went South Africa said that, no, bro, it's not the culture at all, right?
Yeah,
Because we're like, maybe they're just like that. I don't know. I've never been to South Africa, but like, nah.
I don't know. And that's the thing. I wish
That's the
another
thing,
kiss
you
would come out.
guys.
Here's the thing. If
Yeah, fucked
I
it up.
wish he'd kiss his coach again, but that's a funny thing. Ever since this blew up, no more kissing coaches, right? It's funny how that works. Now, at least unlike John Jones, like to your point last video about like John's retired, doesn't care as much. At least DDP is like, all right, maybe I got to stop kissing my coach to cause this ruckus every time.
Yeah. Okay, well, maybe let's get back to the fight talk because we go on these tangents. They're funny though. Oh yeah, let me show you something you haven't seen a little bit to set it off. See here.
Leader the quitter. Leader the quitter.
Yeah, poor de Ridder. This is gonna stick around for a while, that meme. But ch yeah, chime in. I always say his name wrong. He like shit talked him after too. He's like, this bullshit guy give up, and then big bullshit. So also I noticed there's some guy in Brendan Allen's corner, but like I don't, he looks familiar, but I can't remember his name for some reason. Yeah, but anyways, I noticed that. I don't. You know who that guy is? I can't remember.
I'm not sure who he is. Well, we're supposed to remember the name apparently, but
I
I
remember
can't
he
remember.
like tried to get in the ring one time. Security stopped him because they couldn't remember either. Like they're like, "Who's this guy?" They're like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" He's trying to say he's like the main event or something, but they're like, "I don't know." Like they had to call Daniel. Like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
That kind of explains why his wrestling was so good. I'll give flowers to Bilal only because he trained with the guy. Allen obviously showed superior wrestling. The reversals,
Yeah,
I used to do wrestling. He did a great job at doing those. They're called a switch. Like doing those reversals I've done them in wrestling, not punching. It's tough to get a reversal. It takes a lot of energy. And I remember me and the guys at the cigar lounge after De Ridder got up, took that nap, like you said, we were all like, Allen across the corner gives a little smirk at the start of the round, like he was fresh. He's jumping around, then gives
yeah.
De Ridder a smirk, like, "Oh yeah,
Because
boy."
you're
I
right. He
I
was
still
if he was training with Bilal, right? They're just going probably crazy with the wrestling. Oh damn it, I remember his name. But like yeah, right. So De Ridder has good grappling, but he doesn't have the cardio, right? You could see like gasses. He gassed in the other fight too against Whitaker. He looked really tired, right? Like, and I think Allen was saying after like that kind of what De Ridder was doing was somewhat amateurish at the pro level. That he really would like clench on with his legs and the hooks when you get the leg hooks in because I get that's probably tiring, right? I haven't really done it, but I could see how it's tiring. Like especially he was on the bottom doing it, right? So he's holding his own body weight up by his legs and just like gassing his arms and legs constantly. So like by a few rounds in, his arms and legs are like shot, right? And Allen was just like rolling with him, not using as much energy, and then when he was on top, just staying there and punching him in the face. So it was smart game plan on Allen's end too.
you to your point, I felt like Allen Allen was able to beat him because he probably saw the Whitaker fight, saw that De Ridder gasses out. It's kind of like what happened to Roundtree versus Yuri. It's kind of like the strategy with a guy like De Ridder is keep pressing him until he breaks, kind of Habib style. Like I check his grappling, like
Yeah,
just
well,
keep
round
pushing
trip
him.
though, it wasn't quite a gas because I remember rewatching, he hit Roundtree with like a bunch of body shots right before he kind of gassed, you know what I mean? Because it was like that shit hurt. So it was he more so gassed because his like body got wrecked, right? So then he like couldn't even breathe anymore. But like a little different, but still kind of similar.
Yeah, and the thing is that smirk, that's all I knew the fight was over from when
Yeah.
he Allen gave him that smirk and was dancing around. De Ridder just looked like shit. It was like, all right, this fight's gonna be over after this round. Like I wasn't surprised he didn't get off the stool because it was like after that smirk, after the difference in their faces, Allen looked fresh. It was like De Ridder's done for here, especially with that Whitaker fight where De Ridder was just hanging on Whitaker. Like, you could tell he was, but the difference was in that fight, Whitaker was gassed too. So they were both kind of gassed versus this time Allen was like, oh, I'm just gonna rip. And I think to your point earlier, he knew he didn't get off the stool because he knew he was gassed and he knew Allen wasn't, and he knew like,
Yeah. He
and to
couldn't
your
get off the
point,
ground, right? They almost ended it there. Like, dude, if you're not getting up, the fight's over. He's like, oh, like, you know. But like we're not professional fighters. People shitting on him. It's like I understand a bit though. He gave everything. He had like zero energy, right? Like he could barely walk. He's that tired. Like he's gonna get finished. So like in a way, we're giving him shit, but at the same time, it's kind of smart to not to take like career-ending damage, right? He knew he was gonna lose the fight basically, right? He's like sure in his head, like I'm losing. I don't have the energy. I'm gonna go out there. You're right. He's gonna just take me down and punch me in the face more, and I'm gonna lose. So he could have, after the fight that happened just before this, and you saw how someone want to keep fighting. I don't know. Maybe we should move into that now. I feel like we talked about this enough, unless you have another comment on this fight.
yeah, let's move on. Yeah, I
Okay,
agree.
because kind of
We were
I only watched this fight and Kevin Holland and Mike Mallott and that fight. Oh my God! So let's see. Yeah, the whole theme of this was fucking Mike Mallott just did not like Kevin Holland's nuts, and he made that clear by kicking it. He like kicked it really hard, right? And that ref in there was terrible. What was his name? Dan Murgliotta, I think, the bald one. Like, so he gave him the one nut shot. Like, hey man, and like immediately after he knees him in the balls, and like it was like debilitating. Like, I rarely see the fighter take the full 5 minutes from it, but you could tell he was like wrecked. It was like, you know. Just a UFC fighter hitting you in the nuts twice in a row full force. I don't want to think about how that feels. Right, that would be debilitating. Like honestly, the fight should have been stopped. Like as a no contest, right? But then, to give Holland credit, he didn't want to stop even though he could like barely walk. He was like, shuffling around when he was fighting. He was like, oh shit, like and then he didn't get a point taken. Like, what? You just did it. Dan Mariotta's like, it was by accident. And then I remember after the 5 minutes was over, and you could tell Kevin was still really injured. He's like, well, if you quit now, it's a disqualification because you're the one like quitting. It's like, dude, what the fuck? You should have taken a point at least. What the hell? How is that not a point taken? Right? Yeah, I don't
one
know
of
if
the
you have any
guys.
thoughts you want to chime in.
Well, one of the guys at Cigar Lounge, he actually knew some UFC fighters. He's from Hawaii, and he knew a couple guys, and me and him were joking, and he came up with like, well, he got professionally kicked in the nuts. It's a little different than like a
Hmm.
nut shot from a regular guy, And I made the point, well, he does have a cup on, but I got hit in the nuts when I played
Doesn't
baseball with the
matter
base.
though, like a knee, like it's gonna smash in your bits. Yeah, when we played baseball, right? You still got hit. It still hurt, right? It's still
Yeah, but here was the thing. I wasn't a little bitch like Holland. When I got hit by my coach told me to
well,
walk it off. I think it was about 5 minutes. I'll agree about that. But I went and continued the ball game. I didn't turn into a little
completely
bitch
different
boy.
scenario though, right? These are fighters and hitting from different angles, right? You know what I mean? If you hit square on the cut, maybe you're fine, but like the knee came from the bottom. Just think about that. Like if he wanted to quit, he had plenty of opportunity to do so. He had that whole 5 minutes. The whole reason why he waited is because he wanted to keep fighting, but he was so injured. He's like, I don't know if I can. He didn't want to say he's done, right? So he kept fighting, and he honestly, I think he only lost because of that. Because he was winning the first round. He downed Mike Mallett and hurt him, right? And then Mike Mallett, because he got hurt and he got back up, he wanted a little breather, and I think he almost intentionally did in the nuts. Yeah, let me move through this too, like because there's a clip of him after the fight too. I want to show.
I am Mike, and the thing I most like is to kick some balls.
That's what he thought. But yeah, here's the interview after the fight, and he fucking jokes about it.
After that long stoppage in the first round. No, the game plan to name in the nuts a bunch was working perfectly. No, I just Dude, I swear I wasn't even that body. That guy's hips are up by my nipples, man. It's hard to get.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's half joking, but that's fucked up. Like, dude, if you really changed the fight, like hit him in the nuts, and you're like joking about it, like that's funny, right? Like, dude, like that's why I lost respect from him too. If he had just said, "Oh yeah, it's unfortunate, it was an accident," but he's like, "Oh yeah, that's my plan, haha." Like I'm joking, but kind of not really, because I think he might have done on purpose the first one, because he just got rocked by Holland in the first round, got knocked down, came back up, and he was like getting beaten in the striking, right? So he got a little breather, and like. Here's the thing, it's like he might have figured out the new meta of like MMA, right? Just like kick the guy in the nuts over and over again, and then you win. You don't get a point taken. The guy can't even fight you anymore. You won, no punishment. Mix in some eye pokes like John Jones, he might be the new GOAT in a few years, right? There's like no punishment. Like, it's pretty crazy. But
Agreed. Me and the guys at the cigar lounge were talking about this, about like a point really should have been taken, not from the first one, right? But from that knee to the nuts. I mean, it was kind of almost a shin to the nuts because his knee went up and then the shin, like he
that's
got
true.
shin to the nuts.
Still,
So still, I think a point should have been taken, and then it ends up being a draw or Holland wins. Like to your point, I feel like he need him to the nuts because he got hurt. He got knocked down by Holland. He's trying to, dirty fighter tactics. And Holland. The one thing I didn't like, there were two things I didn't like about Holland. One is he turned his back on him. Remember, they had like 5 seconds left, and Holland kind of like turned his back. Like my nuts still hurt. Like
yeah, he's
you
kind of
know,
doing the Nate Diaz, like when he does the silly shit, and it's like really the fighter could just knock you out in that moment, but then it would look bad, so they don't. So it makes it awkward. It's like really, he should have maybe just taken the no contest within that 5 minutes and said he can't continue, right? It would have been a no contest. But since he waited the 5 minutes, agreed to fight, it is kind of like since you did that, if you stop, you lose, right? So it's just a shitty situation because I think Holland might have won that fight otherwise, right? Because like he could barely move around the next few rounds. Like you saw him walking, just like wincing, right? It's like if you've ever been hitting the ball, it's like it can hurt for like 30 minutes. Like I've had that back in high school. Like I had some stupid wars with our friends where we go around kicking each other nuts. That shit is debilitating, like right? Like it makes you want to throw up. It's like women don't understand me, but it's like it's not good, especially twice in a row in that short period of time. So maybe Mike would have won regardless, but like he kind of sullied the win by like all the double low blow, you know?
yeah, and some at the lounge made a good point too. He was like, he actually was not even a casual. He doesn't watch UFC. He was just with a group of friends, and he'd never actually watched this. And he made the comment, "Oh, Holland must be like Dana's best friend the way he's like being a prima donna." And I'm like, actually, you're right. And to your point, brother, that's why I think he continued, was because he didn't want Dana to be like Holland quit, didn't get off the stool, like took an easy way out. I think he did that so Dana keeps giving him those. Holland takes fights at 170, 185 all the time. He's kind of like MVP. Kind of Dana loves that. If you're going to take fights at different weight classes, he's saved many a card. So I think he kind of continued for his legacy as a journeyman that doesn't give up. And honestly, I have more respect for Holland than freaking uh RDR, because at least he didn't give up like a little bitch boy. Like he still fought it out. He did a little Nate Diaz nonsense, but he didn't be like, "Oh no, my nuts hurt. I can't continue." Like RDR, like, "Oh no, I can't get off the stool even though I want to be a champ." Like, and kind of why you watch Holland is stupid stuff like this happens. He's kind of a joke in a lot of ways. Like ever
Yeah.
since the whole Rampage Jackson 4570, I'm not really a fan. I kind of watched to watch him lose at this point in a way, but I didn't want him to lose like this. I felt like he should have gotten a no contest. He shouldn't got a draw. He should have maybe even got a win. I just felt like I want to see him lose, but I don't want injustice to happen to him.
Yeah, right. I agree. Like Holland, I'll still always watch his fights because he pulls off weird shit and he's entertaining. And like he's always talking shit, and it like at first it was funny, but then it got annoying. I remember MVP Michael Venom Page when he was fighting and outclassing Holland. Venom was talking shit, and then it was funny. Holland got all butthurt. He's like, "Yeah, you're talking shit." It's like you do that to every fighter. But he was really Holland was really hurt in this fight because it was the one time he was quiet, dude. I didn't hear him talking much. He's like, "My balls hurt so much, like I can't even talk shit." Right? Like that's how I know he wasn't faking because that was the only time I've ever seen Kevin Holland be quiet for a little bit, right? Because I get it, your boys are hurt, right? You know, it makes sense.
You know
But
what? You just convinced me right now.
yeah,
You this
right?
that you convinced me, because you're right. Otherwise, he's doing his little talking shit, talking to the DC, doing that sort of stuff. You're right. All of that stopped because his balls was hurting.
Yeah, basically Mike Mallett's game plan when he got rocked was like, "That's my purse. I don't know you." Like Bobby Hill, like kicking him in the nuts, right? You know, it's funny because I had a little video where I put both their faces on it. I was gonna like show that, but then YouTube thought that was cyberbullying and harassment, so I couldn't upload it. Just so you guys know, it would have been funny, but oh well. But
I could call DDP gay, but you can't put up a little video showing him getting
yeah.
kicked in the nuts.
Well, it had Mike Mallett's bloody nose like on it because I cropped their heads, right? So maybe detected that and thought it was too violent. But it's like it was literally like a cartoon, but you know, it's YouTube AI. But yeah, Mike Mallett, he has balls, you know, to like fucking right after the fight, like, oh yeah, my plan was to kick him in the balls. It worked perfectly, right? It's like he's half joking, but honestly, I think he did the first one on purpose. Second one, I think is an accident. Like, because you know, he did say Holland's a lot taller. It's kind of true. But if you're gonna be lazy and just hit him in the balls, like maybe you should stop kneeing then, you know? So I didn't watch the other part of the card, but you did. If you want to talk about the other fights, I think it was Cheeto and what was the other guy's name?
Zahabi, and he's the brother of GSP's coach,
Okay.
for Zahabi. So I watched that fight. That was actually a great fight. Sad that you missed it, but they were definitely going to war in there, and Zahabi kind of had a weird wannabe Sean Strickland Philly show, and he got knocked down at one point because of it. And Cheeto's the old lion, and Zahabi's brother's kind of the young guy coming up. But you could tell Zahabi was getting like actually pissed off during the fight because he kept getting hit. He was bleeding, had like nosebleed, mouth bleeding. Like you could tell he was like I'm kind of similar to him. When I get hit, I get angry. So it's kind of like the natural reaction. So I could kind of respect that. But then he headbutted at the like not a super hard, but more of like a love tap headbutt at the end after the round two. He kind of headbutted like Cheeto to be like, yeah, motherfucker. I didn't really like that because it's like, it's a little bit on the line there of like getting disqualified for after, hitting someone after the bell. But it was, it was allowed because it was more of just, it wasn't a real headbutt with like damage. It was more like a head tap, right? At the
Who'd you
end of
say
the
headbutt the
round.
other? Cheeto headbutted him or the other way around?
No, it was a hobby headbutted Cheeto,
Oh.
but it wasn't a real. I shouldn't call it headbutt. It wasn't like boom, like hurt him. It was more
Hmm.
like disrespectful, like little head jab, almost like boom, little hit him
Was
in the
Cheeto
head.
talking shit at the end of the fight or something though? But I
I
guess either
couldn't
way.
tell, maybe, and then in the third round, I mean, the fight easily could have been argued a draw. I felt,
Hmm.
I felt Cheeto won it because he did have a knockdown in round one, but I thought it was. You could argue it 1-1, and there's a swing round. But and Cheeto put up a tweet that he felt he'd been robbed. I agree, it was kind of a robbery. It's kind of like Sean Strickland versus DDP the first time, where you could argue it either way. It's a really close fight. I think the UFC kind of wanted Zahabi's brother to win because he's the new guard. Cheeto's kind of washed.
Yeah, and he's
But
in
I kind of
Canada. I
felt like
always wonder if there's a little corruption, you know, when they're in a different country, they want the hometown fighters to win.
yep, Zahabi's a Canadian, and also Cheeto's a little base. He said some base stuff that might not go well with kind of the little fairy Canadians. So I get it, but it was a great fight. It's like it was one of my favorite fights on the card. I actually really enjoyed the fight. It was a war. It was a 3-round war, and really, I wish I could have seen that as a 5-rounder. I think Cheeto might have won, but Zahabi, I got to give him credit. He had the hands. But me and the guys at the lounge were arguing like, dude, Zahabi, take him down. He was getting lit up a lot of the time. I don't
Hmm.
know if Zahabi didn't want to take him down, but like
Well, you
Cheeto
know
doesn't have the
what?
greatest wrestling.
I just Googled it. I thought he looked familiar as Zahabi, and he was the one that last card in Quebec, he fought Jose Aldo. And do you remember Jose Aldo? He like hurt him with the punching, and then I think Zahabi came back and it was kind of you could have maybe given it to Jose. I think Zahabi really won it from what I remember, but it was close enough that Aldo like almost had him knocked out, right? And I can't remember if Zahabi just won by kind of like grappling him in the last round. So like I think for that reason, he was like after looking more entertaining, right? He didn't want to do too much grappling because people were butthurt about him versus Aldo. And then
Yeah,
Aldo
it's gonna.
retired again after that fight.
Yeah, they're pushing this guy because they like Faraz, and it's like he's a younger guy. Maybe he's a new prospect in a way, right? So yeah, he's getting to train with GSP. He's getting to trade with that gym, that TriStar gym. He's getting the best training. So I just don't. I think the guy's a little entitled. I think he's getting kind of bullshit decision wins that are, they're hard to argue. They're not. Cheeto's not wrong that it was a robbery, but you could argue that it could have went the other way because Zahabi did come back. I mean, obviously he lost round one, but I think he definitely won. He definitely, you could argue the swing rounds. It's tough. It was a really close fight after round one, really. So, yeah, and he had
Well,
Cheeto moving backward,
I'm
admittedly.
looking
So
up his
maybe,
fight stats because I don't know much about him, and now he's won 7 in a row though, so that is kind of impressive. Um, and they're saying for his professional record, probably outside the UFC as well, he's had 14 wins, 6 knockouts, 2 submissions, 6 by decisions. Okay, he's kind of like almost half decisions, but so he occasionally can have an entertaining fight, it sounds like.
yeah, and he doesn't have a ton of power, but he was hurting Cheeto enough to gain his respect. Cheeto had a hard time fighting off the back foot. So I saw as a hobby strategy. Once he realized that, it's kind of like Sean O'Malley can fight off the back foot. He'll throw a big right hand and catch you coming in like he did to Sterling. Cheeto, oddly, it's weird. He doesn't like fighting off the back foot. It was like every time Zahabi got him against the fence, he could light him up, but then out in the open, Cheeto was fucking him up. So it was kind of like interesting to watch that game of chess. I would have wanted I want to see the rematch. I want to see it even if I would love to see that rematch as a 5 rounder main event. Like I doubt it'll happen because they're trying to push the hobby up the chain, I could feel. But that I felt like Cheeto deserves better. I kind of felt sad for him.
Yeah, I'll rewatch that one for sure. I'm interested now. I missed out on that one. So do you have anything more on that? You want to go to the other fights you watched? Because I know
Let's
you
go
watched
do the
them.
other fights. I mean, I said it all, I think there.
Okay, let's move on.
So I watched the women's flyweight fight. Um, I was actually early. My friends weren't there yet, so I was like, I'll watch it because I'm bored. I think Money Moicano wrote years ago, like, oh, like that's piss. Women fight piss break, lunch break. Like, it's kind of right. It's like unless it's Nunes, unless maybe it's Shevchenko, maybe it's Wangley, Zhang Li, something like that. I'll probably watch.
Yeah.
Obviously if it's Mackenzie Dern, I'll watch for her ass. But it's
Well,
like
you're right
unless it's like
though, because like a lot of them, it's just like they have skills, so I can respect that. They actually learned MMA, but a lot of them, even what's her name, the one that beat Amanda Nunes the one time, I'm blanking on her name.
oh,
Uh,
Juliana Pena.
right, like she was champ for a minute, but like her striking's kind of terrible. She just like swings like a drunk in a bar, and she like I mean, it kind of works, but like what I mean, there's not much enough technical skill there compared to the men's leagues, right? So a lot of the lower level women's fighters, right? It's probably just hard to get women's fighters. Like they're kind of amateurish in that regard too. But the top ones do have skill, right? That's why they are entertaining to watch.
Yeah, you know what? Let me take this as the Red Brothers corner about here's the thing, you guys, about women's MMA. To your point, yeah, if they're a real fighter, I'll watch. Like if it's Nunes, even Pena, I consider sort of a real fighter, even though she, like you said, she throws like a drunk at a bar.
Yeah,
I watched the Kayla fight with her just to see what happened. She's kind of like a Holland. I kind of watch her lose, right? Because she gets so butt hurt and she's kind of a troll. I kind of
yeah,
watch just for that reason. When you watch, if you watch like a Nunes fight, you're watching a real fight, right? And that's why I want her to come back. Like, hey, like
yeah.
I'm
And
not
she has
gonna shit on
knockout power
Amanda
even, which
Nunes.
is kind of rare in the women's divisions. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
entertaining.
you saw what she did to Ronda back in the day, and she did the shh after
And
knocking
I
her
think she
out.
knocked out
Like,
Cyborg too, didn't she? I think it was her.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the thing. That's the thing, you guys. Like, women's MMA kind of sucks, but the exceptions prove the rule. There are some really good female fighters.
Oh,
So it's
even
kind
on
of
this
like,
card, wasn't there the French one, Mallot, or what's her name? Not Mallot. I can't remember her name, but I don't know if you watched that one. But she's a good kickboxer too. It's like when they have skills and they come from other disciplines,
I
it can be
watched the
entertaining.
Manon Forlert fight she was fighting Jasmine Jasudavicius. I can't even
Okay,
pronounce her
that's what
last
I'm thinking of. I
now.
didn't know her name.
Yeah, and so I was just kind of like half watching, but then I saw one of them threw like a really hard punch, and she actually wobbled the other woman like it was a men's MMA fight. Like she had enough power to like make her do the chicken dance and finished her. And so like I was like, I think that was a man on
Yeah, that's one I've
Forlort.
heard of. I think she's the French one that she had a title shot who did she fight? She had a title shot against Chenchenko, I think, and lost. Or who was it against? But yeah, like she lost, but she's still a good fighter.
Yeah, but she kind of had that roided up look. So I'm like, of course she has some power. She kind of looked a little dudeish. So I'm like, all right, kind of it adds up. But I wish I'd been watching closer because I was kind of half watching and I saw the shot and then she goes down. I'm like, oh, that was a finish. And I kind of wish I'd saw more of the fight because it was like, oh, like actually she has some power. It's kind of like when Nunes fought Ildana, where Ildana was kind of scared of her, but Ildana had another fight where she whooped somebody's ass. Like there's occasion. I think me and you we were in Vegas. We were at UFC and in Vegas, and we were like, oh, let's go take a piss break, get some food, and we missed a good women's fight. Like
Yeah.
sometimes it screws you when you're like, fuck this women's fight, and then it actually ends up being a good fight. So I'm like,
Well,
so
even
now I have
Dana
to like,
White at one point in time said there's never going to be a women's division, right? So he even changed his mind, right? With like Ronda Rousey and all them. It's like we said, we kind of agree with Sean Strickland. No one cares about women's MMA. That a lot of it is boring, but then there are some fighters that are entertaining to watch.
yeah, and kind of what happened to me tonight or last night. Like now I'm gonna watch for her, and that's what happens to me. There's certain like for female MMA, I'm women's MMA. I'm if you get on the list, then I'll watch for you. You have to kind of prove yourself first. Versus a men's MMA fight, like I'll probably watch more of. I'll watch more prelims and stuff. But yeah, women's MMA is not terrible, and it's like it's I just don't like that like ever since Dana got up with Disney, they kind of went woke a little and kind of like, oh, we always have to have like a bunch of female fights, and they always have to put a female fight on the top of the card just because they have to show, oh, it's equality. Like
Yeah,
I
it's
like what he
funny
said
because
about
Abu
Ronda.
Dhabi, their terms of their agreement, they're like no women's fights on our card, so they don't. That's why
But
their
or
cards honestly are some of the best because yeah, there's no filler fights.
yeah, it's a filler fight a lot of the time. And that's the thing. Here's the thing, you guys. When it's a real fight, yeah, I don't mind if Nunes is on there, right? But when you're just putting filler fights because you're trying to appease the wokeness, I don't. And Dana used to say about Ronda Rousey, like, oh, it wasn't about like she made why she got paid so much as she brought in the money, right? So I respect that. If female fights are bringing in the money, put them on. Like, yeah, I would watch on the White House card if I heard there's talks of Ronda Rousey coming back for that card out of retirement.
Yeah.
Like I would watch that because it's Ronda. Like even though she'll probably get her ass whooped, you never know. She might pull off the armbar. Like that's the thing. Like don't put these crappy filler fights
Oh,
at the
that
like I remember at the
that. Oh, sorry to cut you off, but that's another great subject. Maybe we want to talk about that. Is the White House card what we think would be a good fight? What could happen? I think that's a good subject. You want to talk about that right now?
yeah. I think for women's MMA, Nunes wants to come back and fight again. Great.
Yeah,
Maybe she
that'd
fights
be great, and
Ronda,
I think that's highly
right?
likely, right? Because that would be like a huge card.
And Dana can trust Ronda. That's
It'd be
why
her
she was putting
versus
out these
Kayla
little
Harrison, right? Because Kayla, she's the champ now, I believe, right?
right,
Great
right.
fight. And Amanda was already she was at the pressers for that fight, kind of hinting she might come back. So that's highly
Yes.
likely. That could be cool.
And then you could use
She's an
Ronda as the
American fighter
backup.
too, Kayla Harrison. They're kind of rare. They're all daggy standies now, like most of the UFC
Yes,
roster, right?
you want
Or
Americans on the
Brazilians.
White House guard. So to your point, Kayla Harrison versus Nunes, and then Ronda's the backup card. And really, you just want Kayla fighting. And this is, Kayla's roided to the gills, and she's a real fighter. So I'll watch her
No, no,
fight.
what are you talking about? She looks very feminine, but she's a cool person though, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I'm fine with that being a
Oh,
co-main.
that
Fine,
reminds
put
me.
Kayla.
In the Nina drama interview, so like I think she asked Kayla Harrison, like, "Oh, what fighter do people most say you look like?" And she said Brock Lesnar. But so she has a
Yeah,
sense of
she's
humor. I like her though.
yeah, I like her, and I'd love to see her fight as a co-main because she's an American, and why not? And you're still at ESPN, who's owned by Disney. Fulfill the wokeness in a way that's good. But here's my issue with the top of the card. Michael Chandler is saying that Connor and him are signed. I think, or Connor was saying they were signed or something. I
Yeah,
haven't
but
heard
Dana
official
White
word
came out afterwards and said no, nothing signed for sure, right? So I think
exactly.
Connor's doing the UFC strategy. He's doing a reversal at him and like lying about that the fight signed to put pressure and interest to make it happen. Um,
Yeah,
but he got something where he's banned from fighting for I forget how many months because he missed drug test. So
I
it
think
might
he's
pass the
still.
UFC card, maybe not. Let me look it up.
No, it doesn't. I think it's like April or something like that. He's banned till it's not.
Okay,
He'll be able to make the card, but
maybe.
Connor will show up for something like this. I think Dana probably wants it. I think Trump probably wants it. It'll get more eyes. So I think for the
Hmm.
first time, Dana White is gonna want this fight because putting Conor McGregor and Chandler,
It'd be great.
like let's
Yeah.
say as
Chandler's
a
American
co-main,
fighter too. It's like perfect.
yeah, because you could have three co-mains in a way. You could have Kayla versus whoever. You have Connor versus McGregor, and then you have a big heavyweight fight potentially with Aspinall versus John
You
Jones.
almost said
There's
Aspinall because
talks
they're
of
used to
that.
Rampage Jackson.
And that's the thing. Dana doesn't want to do it, but like Trump loves John Jones. Trump loves American fighters,
Well,
and
yeah. You're right that Dana understandably is butthurt at John because John wasted all of our time for that year. But I think his approach is tell Johns it's not happening, make him butthurt, and then like when it's very near to it happening, then you finally talk. You treat him like someone that's fucked you over, right? So like, a few months before, you're like, are you actually gonna do this? But maybe you don't even make him the main event because like to fuck him over in case he pulls out or something.
and here's an interesting thought. If Surreal Gone beats Aspinall come the next pay-per-view, then John gets to duck Aspinall and fight Serial Gone again for the world heavyweight title.
Yeah.
So, right, it's kind of, and that's John's wet dream is that. I don't think that's going to
It's
happen, but
kind of a dumb fight for
Dana,
fans though, because we know Johns would just destroy Cyril again, with the wrestling.
but
But
here's the thing, you guys. Trump loves John. Remember, John did the little Trump dance at the end of his fight with him in the crowd. So heavyweight fight is always the creme de la creme. So I think, if Surreal Gon's there and he lost to Tom Aspinall, Tom's probably not getting the rematch. And who else are you going to have him fight? Maybe Almeida. Like, but I think John's a perfect fit because then he gets to win the title at the White House and Trump loves him. I don't want to see that myself, but I think
there's
if
a chance
Surreal
of
Gon,
that.
so
Yeah.
Dana White is hoping that Aspinall beats Surreal Gone because then the Aspinall fight will actually happen. Because John, this
Well,
is legacy. This is a one-off, like
but
the
there's the
Sphere.
thing too that Pereira was saying Alex Pereira was saying he wants to fight Aspinall at the White House, right? And honestly, for Dana, like Dana was saying maybe not yet, but you never know because Pereira, I think, is 38, and he was saying he's thinking about legacy, right? He doesn't have much more to fight. Like that'd be a good fight though. Pereira versus John Jones, right? Like at the White House, and John Jones said he wanted that in the past, right? So that could be likely to happen.
Well, to your point, what could happen is because remember 300, we watched 300, you have all this super crazy stack card, but everything's like a co-main in a way. Possibly it could be something like Tom Aspinall versus Almeida or somebody else, and then you have John Jones versus Alex, or you might have this. It could be John Jones versus Aspinall and Alex Pierre is the backup. So if either fighter pulls out, Alex can go in, right?
Yeah,
That could be a great, or John could be the backup fighter, but I don't think John would accept that. I think John wants to be on the card.
I
That's
think
the
so.
issue.
And he can't really be trusted this far out. Even if he says he wants to fight, that's how Dana's treating him. And I think that's right. You wait till January at least before you even talk to John Jones about that, I think. But
And
yeah,
here's what's crazy. Like we watched the Sphere card, we thought about going, we almost went. Like that's a one-time event, and that's why it's so special. Like this will probably never, ever, ever happen again. What other US president's gonna let you build a freaking thing on the
yeah.
lawn, build like no other president's into the UFC enough to do this. So this is gonna have all the casuals watching, all the Trumpers watching, like
Even
even
if you're
my
not a
mom
Trumper,
knows who
it's
Conor
like
McGregor is.
yeah,
Like my mom doesn't know
it's gonna
anything
be a
about
national
MMA.
thing, like you said, and like the news, all the news stories, even the ones that don't like Trump, don't like MMA, they're gonna report on it, right? So it's any publicity is good publicity, so it's gonna be talked about regardless. Like they already put Dana White on 60 Minutes to promote it, like they interviewed him, right? Because at Paramount Plus, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, conflict of interest a little bit, but we're just
And make that your plan. Oh, watch out, bro, 'cause we seeing red again.